Welcome back to Achilles heel, everyone. I hope you're all doing better than me at the moment. Ha 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 ha. Today we're going to set some short-term goals. I didn't do enough of this during my first Achilles recovery. My short-term goals were things like walk again, ride a bike again. But that's about as specific as it got. I kind of just thought if I train every day and I'm getting consistently stronger and faster and springier, I must be doing the right things, and eventually my long-term goals will sort of just manifest, which was sort of happening until it wasn't. Looking back, I do believe part of the problem is that I didn't set any boundaries for myself. If I'd come up with some stress tests that both my ankles and my body as a whole had to pass before even thinking about engaging in high-stress movement again, I might be making much cooler videos right now. This time around, we're going to plan for a better outcome. Now, because my left leg still can't do much, I'm going to focus on where my right leg is at and set some benchmarks for it. I have 4 measurable performance goals, or MPGs, I'll be establishing today. The first MPG measures general strength. I'm going to use pistol squats to measure this goal. The pistol is a fantastic compound movement that utilizes all 3 major leg joints, and because it's unilateral, it can provide a significant load without the need for weights, which is great. It's also one of the few things I can actually do right now. The second MPG measures knee and ankle stability. Lack of stability at the ankle was the major reason for the second rupture. My left ankle was hypermobile in dorsiflexion to the point of weakening the attachments of lateral ankle support musculature like the peroneals, which was causing my landings to flatten out, which caused the peroneal tendons to degrade further until one too many flat landings made them pop. I've chosen the Peterson Step Up as my measuring tool for MPG2. The Peterson concentrates your entire body weight into both joints on an elevated heel, providing huge load and a massive challenge to the entire stabilizing architecture of the lower leg, creating the exact shape I need to keep my landings from flattening under high-stress movement. The Peterson also targets vastus medialis, or VMO, that's the inner thigh muscle. Despite playing dynamic, explosive sports my whole life, my VMO has always been underdeveloped and was one of my main targets during the first recovery, and so it is here in the second. Third MPG will measure ground contact time, or GCT. GCT measures how quick and springy an individual is. The faster you can contact the ground and rebound out of it, the greater your potential in dynamic movements like vertical jumping and sprinting. Similar to a well-developed Peterson Step Up, a super fast GCT is an indicator of ability to maintain ankle stiffness during landings, which again helps channel impact properly and reduce wear and tear at the ankle during high-stress movement. Even before my ruptures, my GCT was pretty lackluster. Had I spent more time focused on this measurement, I may have avoided them and done even cooler shit. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm going to use lateral and sagittal hops as my measuring tool. Hopping is a fairly low-risk movement that boxers, NBA players, and various explosive athletes utilize to strengthen the ankles and decrease their GCT from every angle. The fourth and final MPG will measure power. For this, I've chosen single leg strides. Single leg strides have everything needed to measure power, packing all 3 previous MPGs into one movement. So, there you have it. Let's get some data. First up, pistol squats. These I'm looking at the number of pistols I can do continuously to failure. Here we go. I'll go ahead and give that 10 reps, even though the last one was pretty shaky. Next up, Peterson Step Ups. Different people have different ways of doing the Peterson. Since my goals are so heavily focused on developing ankle stiffness and plantar flexion, I'm going to put a restriction on my Petersons and require the ankle to be raised past 30 degrees at all times to have a rep count. For Petersons, we'll also be counting continuous reps to failure. Ready, go! I don't know. 9 reps overall, but the last 5 definitely sank below the 30-degree mark, so cut those out. We're going to say 4 reps. But even that's pretty generous. The entire knee-ankle complex was very unsteady throughout. So I think I'll focus on maxing out my slant board Poliquin step-ups for now instead of practicing Petersons directly. Next up, lateral and sagittal hops. This paint block on the basketball court measures 12 inches exactly, just far enough to be challenging, just short enough to not be too strenuous. For these, I'll be counting the average time per touch, or TPT, over 10 seconds. First up, laterals. Here we go. That's 25 and 9.75 seconds for an average TPT of 0.39 seconds. Hard to stop on 10 exactly when I'm also the one holding the stopwatch. I might have to get someone out here to help me next time. Next up, Sagittal Hops. This just means forward and backward. Ready, set, go. "27 touches in 10.28 seconds for an average TPT of 0.38 seconds. And finally, our power measurement, single leg strides. I'll be looking at the time plus number of strides over 15 yards from a static start as my measurement. Ready, go! Looks like 9 strides, but I definitely backed off on the last one in order to land on the white line for some reason, so we'll call it 8.7 strides, and I finished in 4.62 seconds for a total power score of 13.32. So there's our measurements for May 8th, 2022. On June 8th, we'll go again and shoot for 15 pistols, 8 Petersons, a time per touch of 0.3 seconds on both sets of hops, and a power score of 12.5 on single leg strides. We'll check in soon.